Dorothy and a couple other people asked me to record it.
How many responses did you get?
Just you and Dorothy and Hannah and Julie. So we'll see. But I put in there that people didn't need to RSVP, and this morning then I put the link on Facebook too, just to see. Well, but who knows?
Well, it's a trial.
Yeah, exactly.
Consider it a trial with a couple friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I'm not a cook. I mean, there's a few things I make really well and I cook fine for myself, but I would never consider myself, a chef. I'm not going to be competition for any of the on TV people. Let's put it that way. and I don't tend to be.
I made a wonderful challah this week. I thought it was wonderful. I got it from Michael Solomonov's Israeli cookbook.
Uh-huh.
And instead of regular bread flour, I used whole wheat bread flour.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of eggs in it, 7 eggs, but it's a big challah. It must be 2 pounds. And
Wow.
it just was, I think it's the best challah I've ever made. And maybe sometime I would do that on something like that.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah. This is an easy one, so it's not complicated for me to try to, give answers to questions.
Right. Well, I think that's all people really want. I don't think there's very many people out there who want to do complicated stuff, but who knows? Maybe in all things, simplicity is tops with me. I always like simplicity.
By the way, how's the dog?
She's pretty much unchanged. She's doing okay. She's, essentially healed herself. She still doesn't walk well. She still looks like she's drunk when she walks.
Can she go up and down the steps?
She can, only because I only have 2 steps at a time. So she would not be able to do a full, regular staircase of 4, 6, 8 stairs without falling down. She would fall down at the end. At the bottom.
How old is she?
About 10. About 10. So whatever it was, I think she either got a disease or she ate something that poisoned her. And over time she has gotten better, but when I look back, she almost died. I'm sure she almost died.
Did she have arthritis?
I'm sure she does, and that was the doctor's first diagnosis. I said she probably does, but that's not the extent of what's harming her. There's no way it's that much of it. And another doctor agreed. He said, nah, that's not it. So who knows? She might have gotten COVID. It was about the time. Supposedly dogs can't get it, but they have documented some cases, so who knows. And she had always been 50 pounds. I had a diet for her that was beautiful, perfect, and she just always stayed right at 50 pounds. She lost 6 to 7 pounds.
Wow.
That's over 10% of her body weight.
Did she get it back?
No, I have not been able. I just took her in to get reweighed yesterday, and she's at 43 and holding. And I feed her as much as she will eat. It's like, she gets like now 6 ounces of meat a day, either chicken or pork or turkey or something, in addition to her kibble and some vegetables and whatever else. But she's never been very food oriented anyway. So that's not in fact, just now I've been trying to talk her into eating. She didn't eat dinner last night, and here it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just got her to eat what's out there. So
God, I wish I was like that.
Me too. I wish I could control my weight the way I've controlled hers. But
Oh, well, I haven't been hungry for 12 hours,
Exactly. But I feel pretty good. Even the scale says I've gained a couple of pounds since COVID, but my measurements are the same. I measure myself once a month, and they've stayed consistent. So I guess I feel pretty good about that, considering how easy it is to overeat when you're at home all the time,
Well, I thought I was really fine. I was telling my daughter today, I really thought that I was calm and I understood what with all the stuff going on with the election and everything, but I was calm. But when it was over, when the election happened, I realized that what I actually had been doing, in addition to gaining some weight, was that underneath my calm, like I just sort of tamp it all down.
Yeah.
And, I can't do anything about this, so I'm just going to stay calm. But then when it was over, it was like, phew.
Yeah.
And
Didn't realize you
gradually
were
I
going
find
through that.
myself suddenly, I'm coming back to my own self.
Yeah.
I feel great.
Yeah. Didn't realize you've been
I
holding
didn't
it up.
realize, I didn't realize how much of a problem it was really for me
Yeah.
underneath it all, under my calm,
Yeah.
until I really came back to myself.
Well, I didn't have the calm. I knew I was not doing well, and I was really afraid if the election had gone the other way. I think I might. I don't think I would have been able to control my clinical depression. I think it
You
would
would have sold your house, quit your job, and gone someplace else.
have, or probably
If
just
anybody else would have wanted you.
curled up on the sofa until I lost the house for not payment and a few things like that. But yeah, I mean, I just remember, I mean, it was like every day I started getting the newspaper when when COVID started happening, everything, because I really believe in trying to support the journalism, the traditional journalism. But every day I'd open up that paper and be afraid of the headlines of what the latest Trump thing would be that he'd done. And now I just feel so relieved that, I mean, that still can happen, and we're not out of the woods with him yet, but still, at least I don't feel the same dread that I used to.
But the posse's on its way.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like enough people have caught on, and some of his Teflon has worn off. Well, I'm going to start doing this, even though you're not really here for this, but this is my dinner, so. So I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead while we talk.
Well, I have a feeling from what you've told me so far that it's something that you can vary according to what you like and don't like.
Exactly. The traditional quiche Lorraine was the original name of it in France, and that's Swiss cheese and bacon are the main ingredients, along with the eggs, the milk, and the cheese. But you can put anything. I love the little baby shrimp
Yeah.
with cheddar, or often sometimes I'll just make it a vegetable one.
By the
And
way, I think you disabled the attendance screen, the screen sharing.
yeah. Well, I wasn't going to screen share. I was just going to have you see my kitchen. Can you not see
Okay.
it anymore? Yeah, I didn't think I could probably. Let me see if I can screen share the recipe. I bet I can. I hadn't thought about it. Since it's just you and me, we can kind of play with this, huh? Let's see. How do I get to that? Desktop. Whiteboard. Because I've got the.
You let your hair grow.
Yeah, who cares?
It looks great.
Thanks.
It really looks cute.
I had her cut it really short now it was about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and just thought, I just don't want to deal with it. Why should I? So, how do I get to my desktop? Well, there's the desktop. Trying to see, as long as it's just you and me and I can experiment. Tessa's right here underneath my feet. Where else would she be, right? She's got the whole place to herself, but no. She's going to be right under my feet. Okay, here are the quiche instructions. Here are the key ingredients. Let's see if this comes up. Oh, well, it's sideways, but yeah, here's the recipe. Can you see that?
Yeah, sideways.
Okay, good. Yeah. I don't know that I have the expertise to turn it.
So you're using a pie shell?
That's tradition. I don't, because I've never really cared for pie crust a whole lot, and I don't see the reason to add the calories. So what I do is,
It's not that much Swiss cheese. I love Swiss cheese.
yeah, that's my favorite too.
Okay, so I wouldn't use the bacon or the half and half.
Yeah,
But
let's say now the half and half, and I don't usually, well, and what I have right now actually on hand was heavy whipping cream. So I didn't want to buy other stuff when I had that in the house, so I'm gonna just dilute that way down. But yeah, use any substitute milk. It's gonna definitely taste different, but
could you substitute coconut milk?
I'm sure. I don't know why you couldn't. Yeah.
So anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that
Or soy milk.
Yep. Soy milk, almond milk, I'll bet. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't used those enough to know how much the flavors would change things. But
Well, I think the main thing is the cheese
uh-huh.
and
are some
And
cheeses.
what, if you put in some, you might put in some vegetables like,
Yeah, I'm going to add some onion. I love onions and mushrooms.
yeah,
You know, some bell peppers or spinach is easy. Now we have to saute that first
yeah,
before you put it in. Broccoli, you know, pretty much any vegetable. So yeah, your biggest thing would be experimenting with which milk substitutes would work.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no bacon.
Yeah. When I
But,
mean,
but if you put
yeah,
mushrooms in,
if you don't eat bacon, you just don't eat pork, right? Because
yeah,
yeah.
but you could use mushrooms in place of the bacon.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It does. So here's what I do
And
instead of.
now, because of this, I can barely see you because it's taken over the
Oh, right.
screen.
Well, you don't need to see this. Let me stop sharing the screen. You don't need to see the recipe anymore, right?
Right. I'll get it from you another time.
Well, yeah, and I can send it to you. I've got it.
So you're putting a pepper in this.
What I'm doing is I'm just creating a crust out of the peppers. So I hollow it out and cut it a little bit so that I can essentially flatten it out. And I just line the bottom of the pie crust with that. And
Does it soften up by the end?
It does. Yeah. And it just.
Well, that's a good idea. And they're a little bit sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can put any color, any ones you want in there, obviously. Yeah, as soon as I realized, and actually with quiche or anything, you don't have to use anything as a crust at all. Just give the bottom a little butter or spritz or something, on the or
right,
some kind of coating. But yeah, I realized lately that these dishes don't need, or the egg dishes don't need anything. They'll just, as long as you're doing it at least in a glass pan, they'll just set up. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but and then yeah.
Are you using like a Pyrex dish?
Yes, just a 9-inch Pyrex pie.
Okay.
Usually when I do it, I make 2 at a time, and because they freeze really well. And I even sometimes I like the quiche better the second day than when it's right out of the oven. It's a little bit different flavor, and you'll find, if you have quiche at a restaurant, they're all frozen, or at least not right fresh out of the oven.
Well, you sound very professional.
There's a few things I know, and I did work in restaurants for so many years. But yeah, this is one that my mother actually got this recipe from a French woman. So it's very authentic. And it was when I was a kid. I remember she was a really wonderful lady. And it doesn't really even have to cover all the parts of this. It's not as if like a crust it has to be. So I'm just laying it in the bottom there. And in other words, maybe you can see. So, it's not.
That's a big pan.
Yeah. Well, it's a 9-inch. It's a standard pie plate. Most of them are your 8-inch or 9-inch. This is a 9-inch. So I'll try to move it around here. So there's going to be, most of the parts are going to be covered. But yeah, at first I was thinking, oh, it's got to be, we got to have every inch of the bottom covered. And I'm like, oh, no, guess you don't. We don't. I like the orange and the yellow peppers a lot. I think they're a little less strong.
They have a little bit of sweetness to them.
Yeah. So we got, all right, so then I'm going to put my eggs.
How many eggs are you using?
3.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well, where do you go shopping? Do you do PCC or where do you shop?
It depends. I shop at PCC sometimes, because it's my corner store and I want to support them. I'm a member. Some things are just a little too pricey.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to QFC because I know they have some things that other places don't have.
Mhm.
But Safeway is down the street too. Sometimes I go to Trader Joe's. It depends what I need.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Uh,
I'm just gone for vegetables and some canned goods and things, then I go to Trader Joe's.
gotcha.
Also depends on the weather
Trader Joe's,
and
that's
how far I want to walk or take buses.
yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of a trip, I would think.
That's okay.
So I'm just whipping up the eggs a little bit, and I'm gonna add the half and half in there. I do have the other side of the recipe has the direction part on it. So sprinkle bacon and cheese and bottom of pie shell.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
The picture that you're on, the screen that you're on, can you just make that full screen? Or can I do it?
You can from your end. If you go up, probably, and I think in the upper right corner, it's going to say view.
Yeah.
And then go to speaker.
Yeah.
And that
there you go.
make me the
So maybe now I can see what you're doing.
There you go. Yeah, that should make me your full screen. So let's see, how much do I want out of this? 1.5 cups of cream. And like I said, I got to dilute this way down because I think heavy cream is whipping cream is about as much as you get. Oh, how did I do that? Just over myself there. Oh, I guess it came off of the tab from.
You don't wear aprons.
No, my mother was a big apron gal, and I never have been because this is really unusual for me to ever get anything on myself. If I did it all the time, I'd probably go, "Oh yeah, you better wear an apron."
I love wearing an apron. Maybe it's a throwback to my mother and my grandmother.
Yeah.
I put on my apron and I almost feel professional.
This is true. Where's I'm bending down here to find. I actually have one. I have one apron, so I'll pull it out and put it on.
Oh, how cute.
It's a Pike Place Market.
What does it say?
Pike Place Market.
Oh, nice.
I got it years and years ago. I always feel like I have to own one. Now my sister Lori, my younger sister, she got the habit, and she's always worn one. All right, so if I want 1.5, I wonder how much I want to dilute it. I think at least half, probably more. But the quality of whatever you put in the liquid is going to make a real difference in how it tastes. So I think you're probably just going to have to experiment. Let's see, half. I think I'm just going to do a half a cup of that.
I think a slight coconut taste would be lovely.
Yeah, I use coconut oil in a lot of things instead of vegetable oil or. There's one. Let's do it this way.
Nice measuring cups.
I love these. And they're not easy to find collapsible ones. I tell you, in my kitchen, everything is so small, you got everything like that counts. All right. Spatula. My mother was big on spatulas. Was yours?
Yeah.
You have to get
every
drop out of there. Don't waste anything. All right. So. Okay. I have the computer set up on my test. Can you get out of the way, please? Thank you. On my table, dining room table, and I just scooted it in here. And yeah, that makes it hard to open the refrigerator.
And as you go along, you are cleaning up and putting things away.
Yeah, mostly 'cause I'm
I do that.
so small that if I don't, it just drives me crazy.
You
Uh,
think that's the reason because you're in a small space?
yeah, I do. Because otherwise, I prefer to just leave it all out and then do it later. So I'm gonna go ahead and add. I don't like black pepper, so I always use white pepper and stuff.
What's the difference in taste?
Um, to me, white pepper, it doesn't have the bite that black pepper has. It's much milder. Um, much half a teaspoon salt. Yeah, it just to me yeah, it's hard to describe. I don't know how you.
But you do see a difference.
I definitely do. Yeah. I only like black pepper if it's got if it's been put in by a chef who knows exactly how much. If I can actually taste the pepper, I don't like it, and most of the time I can. So, all right, and then
So here you mix the half and half, the water, salt, pepper, and eggs.
yep,
And now you're gonna add what?
this is the ham. I never want to buy a big ham because it's just me. And you don't want to know this anyway because you're not going to get
That's bacon, right?
this. Is
Do you
well,
cook that first before you put it in?
this is a pre-cooked ham.
Uh-huh.
But if it, yeah. Oh, all of a sudden Tess wants to go outside. That's weird because she never wants to go outside. All right, hold on. Gotta adjust everything here. Nothing's easy in a house this small. Everything has to be moved one thing at a time in a sequence. You okay? All right.
Is that your side door?
Yes. Well, it's my back. Yeah, it is a side door. Yes. On the porch that you painted. The back porch. I call it the back porch. I've just been realizing recently that it's actually a side porch, but same difference.
That looks like ham.
It is.
Oh,
You keep saying bacon, but I thought maybe it was just the same thing for you. No, this is ham. Tradition is bacon, but I like ham better. I don't know why. Funny thing is, if I'm just eating it plain, I don't really like ham. I only like ham in egg dishes.
what about in sandwiches?
Nope, not particularly. I mean, if it's thin sliced and it's with something else, but I would never, and I would eat it, but I would never order just a plain ham sandwich. I want either some turkey or turkey and ham together. I really like. But I don't know why I've just never been a big ham fan. Somebody has, that's their main thing at dinner. I'm like, okay. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't. I don't think it's special. I wouldn't order it if I had other options, really. So just one of those odd things. I know most people love it. Traditional holiday dinner for a lot of people. All right, so I'm just going to sprinkle that over the peppers. And that's enough of that. Then I'm going to add some onion. I am a big mushroom fan, but I don't find it really enhances the ham that much. So I have one of my bad habits in cooking is I go, oh, let's add this and this and this, and pretty soon whatever I'm cooking has more more ingredients and is all of a sudden a huge deal. Like I discovered I cannot make a single pan of lasagna because I just start adding more and more things, and pretty soon I got like 2.5, a 13 by 9 pan and another 9 by 9 pan, and I'm calling people to go.
Especially if you have leftovers.
Pardon?
Especially if you have leftovers in the refrigerator.
And I love them because I'll freeze. I like to make things that I can freeze in, individual portions. So that's obviously one of them. And the quiche actually freezes, like I said, really well too. So. And I just put in the raw onion. It cooks in there, just like the peppers do.
So it's like a casserole.
pie. It's an egg pie. That's how most people would describe it. But yeah, and I like, yeah, casserole. That's a good description for it. So that's
It's nice that you don't have to cook the ingredients that you're putting in it.
exactly. If you, well, again, you're not going to do bacon, so that one doesn't count. But no, you don't. Because it takes about an hour to cook, so it's not quick that way.
But it doesn't take an hour to prepare it.
Right. It's really pretty quick to prepare, as you're seeing. And we've been chatting the whole time, so.
And you're using grated Swiss cheese?
I'm using grated. I got lazy. I didn't use
No, that's great. It cooks easier.
Does it? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It's such a pain to do it myself. So, boy, this isn't going to take as much. Well, again, see all those peppers in there takes up a lot more room than a pie crust would.
It's healthier.
Yeah. Oh, much. So I'll turn on the oven. And it just bakes at 375. Let's see. Okay, so all that stuff on there, just spread that around and then pour the egg mixture on there. It's supposed to take more cheese than that, but I think because, like I said, I've got so much other stuff in there, so it'll be good. And I actually like a little extra flavor. I think I'm going to put a little cayenne pepper in there just to give it a kick. You don't want it to come too high up because it'll overflow in the oven if it does. So you want it just a hair under the top of the rim.
Are you going to put it on a baking sheet to make in case it runs out?
I often do that, yeah. But I've got a little apartment size stove too, so oven. So so it seems like I usually the baking sheet isn't quite wide enough. Although, I don't know, I'm gonna try it. Maybe this one. Oh, and then the final touch, again, this is from the French woman, is that you take about a tablespoon of butter and put it in little pieces and just dot it around the top of on the top and let it melt in there as it cooks.
So the butter melts into the cheese?
Yeah. And
how's it turn out?
It's a nice brownish, not crust, but it really makes the color nice. Sort of browns.
Do you ever use parsley?
I've never been a big fan of it. I know my mother was. Do you really like it?
I do like parsley. Italian parsley.
I just never really developed a taste for it. I don't dislike it, but.
So that took you about 25 minutes with us talking.
Mm-hmm.
If we hadn't been talking, it wouldn't have taken more than 15 minutes.
Exactly. And like I say, it takes about an hour in the oven. And it's just when you can kind of, if you don't want it to jiggle like Jell-O or anything, when you go to check if it's done, it should be firm enough that it's not going to jiggle. But and you can put a knife in if you want or something to see that there's no, the raw egg isn't still raw or anything. But But yeah, typically it just, that's the way you test it out.
Well, it shouldn't jiggle with all the solid stuff you put in.
Well,
You put in the
if the egg in the
bacon,
middle hasn't cooked enough,
ham.
it will.
Yeah, you have ham and you have cheese and stuff that's a little more solid, so it shouldn't jiggle.
Well, if you undercook it, it will.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you know when it's done, is that it doesn't jiggle. Because otherwise, if the egg and the milk hasn't cooked properly, then it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna jiggle. It's gonna look like Jello or something when you just sort of slightly shake
Uh-huh.
it.
Good.
Yeah.
So can you send the recipe?
You bet. I'll
Okay.
send it to you in an email.
Thanks for doing that. That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Otherwise, I would have been all here talking to myself. All right. We'll see you
Take
later.
care. Thanks a lot, Alice.
You're
That was
welcome.
fun.
Oh, good.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.